as you guys are popping in, if you don't mind just muting yourselves. We are so glad to have you here. For those who don't know me, I'm Melody Morrow, and we are delighted to have you here on the call with us this evening. Emily Petty has been a friend of mine for several years now, and I have had the great honor of hearing her speak on vision, and she always blows me away. She has been in this industry for how many years? I don't actually know for sure.
10 years, actually.
10 years. But in her previous company, her and her amazing organization actually built a team that sold over $300 million in sales. No, I mean 30 million. 30 million.
300 million would have been amazing. You did 30.
30 million. 30 million is what I'm going to say. $30 million of sales in 5 years. And so we know from that she loves to pour vision in her team, and she's pretty dang good at it. So I'm going to turn this over to you, Emily, and I am so excited to soak up your wisdom.
You are so sweet, Melody. I've learned so much from you and continue to learn so much from you every single day. So it is such an honor to be with you guys tonight. Thank you for having me. As Melody said, my name's Emily. I have been in the industry for a while, and it is such a privilege. It is such an honor to get to train tonight on vision. I would love to see show of hands how many of you have dug into vision training before. Just a couple. Oh, Lisa. Lisa, you have. Courtney, you have. Because we work together, probably. This is something that I think is often back burner in our industry. We tend to jump in and just try to hit goals, and we focus on goals first before we focus on vision. And I'm a big believer in that being actually backwards, and that we need to dig into our vision as early as possible in our journey, because, guys, network marketing is not hard. It is simple, but it is a growth process, and you have to be willing to address and adjust and grow in order to be able to go up in this business. And one of the big ways I have found to do this, I look back on who I was when I was first introduced to this industry, and I had the privilege of sitting under some incredible mentorship very early on in my career. And I look at the girl that I was, and I was nervous to talk to people. I was kind of awkward. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence. I didn't have a lot of confidence in the industry, confidence in the products that I was representing. I have grown so much. And I think we first need to look at this business not as a sales business, but as a personal growth business, that we walk that out through sales, but it's really so much about who we are becoming. Because as you become more and more of who each of us are created to be, people of character and people of love for others and taking care of other people and putting other people's needs first, in this industry, you become more and more, you grow in those areas, and you kind of get financially rewarded for that, because people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Right? And when you help enough other people get what they want, yours becomes an automatic. So I've always viewed this as a personal growth program, and I want to encourage you, if that's new concept to you, it's okay. It was new to me too, and it sounded pretty hardcore when I first was introduced to it, but I have grown and seen over and over again the truth of that. So I want to start off with just a word for those of you who have some measure of network marketing PTSD, because that's a real thing. That's a real thing, regardless of what companies you may have worked with before. It's not about the specific company. It's not about the specific circumstances. It is about, sometimes in this industry, we can get a little bit of PTSD. And it can be really easy to take that with us from somewhere else into a new season. And the thing is, if we don't sort through and release and bless that and what that has been, it is like strapping a ball and chain around your ankle and trying to go run a new marathon, and it's not going to work. So if you've got stuff and you've got baggage and you've got PTSD, I have had to work through some of my own over the years. I just want to encourage you to take some time to start sorting through those things. Sort through the tough stuff that's in your heart and intentionally release that and let it be where it is. Let it stay where you left it, and let yourself move forward. Learn from it, release it, and move forward. Consider this a fresh start. Consider this a brand new thing. You have more skills maybe than you had before. You have more knowledge and know-how as you've matured and grown as a person, but it's time to make a fresh start. So as we're digging into vision, I know that you're going to be confronted with the same things that I've been confronted with, which is I've set goals before and maybe they didn't happen, or maybe they didn't happen in the time frame that I wanted them to, or maybe I had a vision and it didn't work out the way that I thought it would. All of those things contribute to sometimes damaging your ability to create a new vision as you're starting in a new place. And I just want to encourage you that for me as a person of faith, that is something that I've spent a lot of time praying through, and that is a really valuable way for me to do that. Processing those things and writing them down, burning a letter, sending a letter off to Santa Claus at the North Pole. There's a lot of ways to give yourself some closure as you're moving forward to let yourself start beginning to work on new things. So let's dig into what vision is. Vision is a picture of a preferred future. That's all. And it doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be, I want to have, an 8,000 square foot house and a boat and live on a lake and pay for my kids' college in cash. It doesn't have to be something like that. But a vision is a picture of a preferred future. So as you are looking at your business and you are looking at what you want to do with this business that's in your hands, look at your future and how you want to see changes and adjustments to your future for your family. Maybe it is paying off some student loan debt. Maybe it is paying for kids' activities. My son's in baseball, and it is expensive. Like, it's not a little bit expensive. It's real expensive. That's on my vision board. Think of the things that attach a little bit more deeply in your heart, maybe, than just a little extra income. Sometimes a little extra income really is what we need. In my prior company, my first vision and the only thing that I could see was guilt-free Starbucks. I wanted to be able to get Starbucks and not feel bad that I was spending $7 for a cup of gourmet coffee. And that was my vision. And that vision then grew over time. But if you need to start small, that's okay. You have permission to start wherever it is that you are. But I would encourage you to choose something as you're thinking about, just taking a minute to think about your future and think about your family and the dreams and the goals that you want for your children, for your spouse, for your career. If you don't have kids, we've got college girls on the team. We'll talk about vision a little bit, and they've got completely different goals than mine, but their goals are 100% important and valid. So think about what your vision is. I know for me, I want to be debt-free, 100% debt-free. I want my house paid off. I don't want a car note. I don't want any debt in our life at all. I don't like debt, and I've become to be very, very disliking of debt. I want to see a lot more yeses for my kids than nos, and we've had to say no a lot in the last year. And I know what it's like to be able to say yes to my kids, and I want that. I would like to take my children on a major vacation. I would like to help my parents pay off their house. There are things that I would like to do with money that make a difference and make an impact in the world. We've got connections with organizations that deal with sex trafficking and getting children out of prostitution in temples in India, little 7 and 8-year-old girls. There are things that I want to do with money. Money is not a bad word. It's not a bad word. It's a tool. You need water, you need food, you need money to live in life. So if your vision is attached to money, that is a good thing. Money is a tool. As you're looking at that vision, I just want to encourage you that a why should really be something that makes you cry. A why that makes you cry is a real thing. You want to attach your heart to something with this business that touches you deeply enough that it brings fire to your soul and tears to your eyes, because you're going to wake up and there are going to be some days where you are lit up and passionate about this business, and there are going to be other days where there's a lot going on and you're tired and you don't really want to touch it. But if you will remind yourself of your why, and it is powerful enough to get you to go and touch your business, then you are unstoppable. Don't settle for a vision that's less than what you know you actually want. What you actually want. I think a lot of times we kind of put up our first thing that's actually not the real thing. It's just sort of the barrier thing that we would like to say first, because the real one is a little scarier and we don't really want to let that out into the open, because if that real thing that we actually want doesn't happen, then that's going to hurt a lot, right? If we were honest about what we really wanted and what our vision and our goals really are, and then that didn't happen, that's scarier. And it's okay. I believe that even when a vision doesn't happen to the level that you wanted it to, that it's still beautiful on the way. It's still a beautiful journey, and there are still victories, so many victories along the way. But if you are going to be able to touch that business every day, you are going to have the drive. When you look at people who are running around, they're hitting 100K in a couple of months. They're hitting 500K. They're hitting super in a couple of months. That's not just happening because they got in early and they somehow got a big team. That's not why that happens. That happens because they have a why that drives them to touch their business every single day. It doesn't mean it takes over life, but it means you touch it. And sometimes that's just a conversation, but it's the intentional attachment to a vision that makes it worth it enough that you're willing to touch that every single day. Start small if you need to, but let the real thing out. Can I just encourage you? Let the real why, let it come out and breathe in the air. Let it come unpack from your heart, because it changes things. It changes things completely when you allow yourself to dig into that level of fire and passion for your family, or for people that you love, or for your future, whatever that is for you. So that's my number one thing. A big vision takes big belief. And if you're going to allow, we can cry together, Gina. I've become so emotional in the last, well, I've always been emotional, I can't lie, but especially in the last month, it seems to be right at the surface here. If you are going to accomplish a vision, you're going to have to start believing in yourself. You are going to have to start believing maybe a different narrative than the one that you've believed about yourself up to this point. Because to be frank, if I can do this business, anybody can do this business. I'm the worst salesperson in the world, actually. I'm real bad at it. And I'm still learning social media. I'm not sure how it all works. I'm watching trainings and I feel like a 5-year-old. If I can do this business, you do this business. There's nothing that I have that you don't. You have to start believing in yourself. Stop listening to the narrative in your mind that talks you out of believing in a goal before you've even tried to go accomplish it. Stop listening to the voices that are telling you, well, that's her, not me. Well, that was then, not now. Well, that was that situation, but I don't have that situation. They had these things and I don't. I will never be able to. Stop it. Just shut it down. When that thought comes up, I want you to write down, here's an assignment. Take something like an index card and write down 3 truths about yourself that you know that are actually true, And then when that thought comes at you, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm cut out for this. I'm not like them. Go and turn around and look at that thought. Yes, you are. Yes, you have everything that it takes. You are learning more every single day. You have fire and passion and tenacity, and you're going to make it happen. You start speaking belief and life over yourself, your mind, your heart, and this game changes for you. Your vision determines your goals. So let's get practical for a minute. I don't know what your goals are, But when you have a vision, that determines what your goals are. So if your vision is to be debt-free, let's say, I'm just going to pull numbers out of there. Say you have $100,000 worth of debt that you want to pay off, and you want to do that in 2 years. If you tell me that your vision, then your goal that's determined by that vision is to hit 10K by the end of the year, I'm going to tell you that your goals don't line up with your vision. What your vision is then determines your goals. So if you've got a big vision, guess what? You've also got to have big goals. I know. This is where rubber meets the road, but guess what? I'm looking around. This place is in momentum, guys. This is in major momentum already. We're going to get into a little bit more of that already, but in just a minute. But your vision determines your goals. So my vision for our family is I want to hit 500K by the end of the year. I just started last month, so this playing field's real even, but that's my vision. I'm going to hit 500K by the end of the year. I know the income that represents. I know what I want to do with it. I know the debt that we need to pay off, and that's what we're going to do. So you need to have a North Star goal. That's your vision. That's your why. That's your North Star. That's what you're looking to when you get discouraged, when things aren't working. You are looking to your North Star vision. And then you need a 1-year goal. You need a 1-year goal. Where are you going to be a year from now? Look around, because your first answer, as in terms of rank, is not going to be your last answer, because your first answer is going to be lower than what you're actually capable of and what is actually possible in this environment. It's very, very rare to have a company with this kind of momentum, this kind of culture shift, this kind of social topic, this hunger for a product. This is rare. And the opportunity to get into this momentum, and if you'll take advantage of it and you'll be strategic and intentional, 500K is, I don't think we're actually going to land there. I think it's going to be more like super, but I'm holding on to 500 because that feels big enough. And if you have a vision, if you have a goal that is too big, that it's completely impractical, if I were to say I want to hit super by May, that just may not be practically possible. And you're going to discourage yourself if you lose sight of reality a little bit and just grab something out of the sky that is, I'm sure somebody could do that, but that is a different game plan for your day-to-day work life that I don't currently have the capacity to do. So let's say, for example, that you are going to hit your 1-year goal is 50K. Okay? Your 1-year goal is 50K, and that's too small for every single one of you on this call. 50K is too small, but I'm just going to use it as an example. If your 1-year goal is 50K in December by the end of the year, then split the year in half. So you can't just run for 50K and then not keep track. You've got to be able to track your goals as you go. You have to be able to break it down so that you're not just trying to eat the entire elephant all at once. You got to do little bites here and there. So 50K by December means 25K by June, right? Split the year in half. 50K is 25K. So 25K in June would be your next chunk. And then take that one step further and split that in half-ish, probably, well, 10K is not half of 25, but you get the understanding. So 10K by April. April is a third of the way, kind of halfway between here and June. You've got April, and then you've got December 6 months later. Does that kind of scary? I see some eyes kind of glazed over. Does that sound a little scary? I know, but it's not. It's really not. Look around. Look what people are doing. Look what people are doing. If it can happen for her, it can happen for you. It's your DMO. We're going to talk about that next. Your goals determine your DMO, your daily method of operation. If you don't have a big vision and you don't know where you're going, then how do you know what you're working on? You're just kind of throwing things at the wall and maybe doing really good activities from the chatbot, which is amazing. But if you don't have a goal, you don't have a purpose. You don't have what are you trying to do with all these activities? You're just doing activities. It's like a hamster on a wheel. You're never going to feel like you're getting anywhere, even when you are, because you have to have a goal. You have to be able to go forward. So your vision determines your goals, and then your goals determine your DMO. And I want to encourage you to do one thing. Touch your business every single day. On Sundays too. Because in this business, touching your business doesn't mean pulling reports, running major events. Touching your business can be a conversation with someone. A conversation with someone for me at church who had migraines all the time and has been really, really sick and isn't doing well. And we talked about how somebody could help her. That's touching your business. Touch your business every single day. What do you need to do every day that are money producing, money making, income generating activities? The number one thing you need to do every day is watch that chatbot. That chatbot, Kelsey and Melody, I just have to prop you guys. That is amazing. The practical activities in that chatbot are priceless. I've never seen a tool that is so effective. It's so easy. It's so accessible. This is a duplication and multiplication game. And that chatbot makes your team building 10 times easier, you guys. I've managed a really, really big team before. And having a tool like this that can help everyone know what to do and feel connected and feel a part of what we're doing is such a huge gift. Whether you've got 2 people on your team or 2,000, it's a huge gift to be able to offer that. So dig into the chatbot and then show up to go up. Show up. There's stuff going on. There's tons of events. Tuesday, Thursday events that are run by Kristen and Travis. Okay. Kristen and Travis are amazing. I love their personalities. They are a ball and a half. Their personalities aren't everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. That's okay. Use it anyway. And if their personalities are definitely not the cup of tea for somebody that you know, check and see who the guest is that they're having with them. They've got guests all the time. People need to hear from different voices than just you. There are tons and tons and tons of resources and events. Don't spend time trying to reinvent the wheel. Don't waste your precious time trying to reinvent systems, customize things a million ways. Yes, you need to put your personal spin on it. It needs to be personal to you. The way that you present yourself on social media, how you talk to people, it needs to be personal. But don't try to reinvent it. There are systems here that work. Use them. Use them. They're money-making systems. I think a really good goal for you monthly, I know I'm kind of preaching, but I'm fired up about what can happen here for all of us. As we're looking monthly, for anybody who wants to do big things and you want your vision to be something that will impact life, you want to make money, you want to do big things for your life, then I think one of the biggest things that you can shoot for is rebuilding 5K every month. Every single month. You're working for 2 executives and 2 directors. You're 4 people, and then you are helping them, each of them, get their 2 executives and their 2 directors. The multiplication and duplication that process involves, if you get 4 people, 2 execs and 2 directors, and then you help them each get 4, that is, hold on, math on the fly is not my strong suit. 24, right, Kevin? I think it's 24 people. New people in your business every single month. And if you're teaching them to do the same thing, that is huge momentum and movement and growth, you guys. Plus, if you're helping other people, teaching them to hit 5K, guess what happens real quick? 10K, 25K, and 50K, because you're teaching everyone to plug into that system. What it requires to be able to speak on that with strength is to believe, number 1, that it's possible, and to believe, number 2, it's possible for the people that you bring into the business. It's really, really easy to look at someone and unintentionally maybe prejudge what they are capable of or what you think that they want. And one of the most amazing things about this business is so often you'll bring in somebody and they start off, they're telling you, remember, people are telling you their small goals. They're telling you this little thing here, and there's something way back there that they may want that they don't know how to express, or they never even stop to consider. So they're giving you their little vision. If you think that that's all they're capable of and all they're ever going to do, and so you write them off and you feel like you got to go just find other people, then you're not actually believing in them. And sometimes we've got to believe in other people until they believe in themselves. That's what we get to do. not only because of the industry that we're in and the product that we offer, but because that's our privilege as bringing people in with us along this journey, is to believe in them until they believe in themselves. You guys have leaders who believe in you, who believe passionately in what you're capable of, who speak life to you. And that is what you get to do for the people that you bring into this business. So 5K every month, if you are looking for growth and you are looking for momentum to get on your side, and you are looking for a big belief and a big vision, jumping into 5K every single month and building that with new people is going to be huge, huge, huge for you. Yes, Melody. Yeah, I was going to talk about when you're thinking about go up to show up. Here's what I was taught. I was taught that the more events you get yourself to, and the more people you get to events with you, the more momentum you build. This industry has a ton of need for third-party credibility. If my friends are only hearing about my business through me, and I'm not exposing them to other leaders, I'm not exposing them to third-party credibility from all of the research and everything that's available on the internet, then they're not really going to believe in the product as quickly because they're just learning from me. You need other things to help build their belief. The same is true in the business side. On the business side, we need to keep our belief level high and our cups full. And the way that we do that is by getting to events. So I was trained in my company back when my daughter was little, before my other prior company. I was trained that you show up at every single event. Even if you know everything they're going to say, even if you have to drive 3 hours to get there, you show up because you are going to get something new. You are going to get reconnected to your business. You're going to get reconnected to the movement and what you're trying to do. And you're setting an example for your people. You're setting an example for your people. And when you're building event to event, there's a momentum, a belief, and a group encouragement that happens, because you never know what training is going to come across or what voice they're going to hear from that is going to say the same thing that you've been trying to say for 2 years or for 3 months with this new person. And they're going to go and hear it from somebody else. Go, oh, you know what she said? That really lit a light bulb for me. It made me think that maybe I really should believe in myself because I think I can do this. And you're going, yeah. Yeah, what she said wasn't new, but you heard it from a different voice, and so great. And now you're ready to go. Event to event, the tour, the conference. You don't miss conference. Unless you're having a baby or you're in the hospital, you don't miss conference. You are there. It is so important. If there's anything within like 10 hours of me, I'm there. And if there isn't, if they do regionals and it's not close by, I just committed in my heart that I'm buying a plane ticket and I'm going because I need to be there. You've got to pursue the things that fill your cup. If you want a big belief, then you got to build it. It doesn't happen just by deciding that you want one. You got to build it. And then as life happens, there's bricks that get knocked down off that thing that you built, and you got to put new bricks back up there. So show up to go up. And then your vision, recapping, your vision determines your goals determine your DMO, and your DMO determines your pipeline. Yes, pipeline and vision are connected. I know, but they are. There's a 90-day pipeline in this business. 90 days. It is just how it works. Whatever you put in here, you don't see the full fruit of until 90 days later. You're putting something, the water, you're turning it on at the house, and the water's going to come out at the other end of the hose. But if you turn the water right back off again, by the time the water gets to the end of the hose, if there's nothing following it, then you just get a little at the end, right? You've got to turn that on and keep it on and keep that pipeline flowing with people and contacts and pre-enrollees and new affiliates and new customers. You've got to keep that pipeline going. If you're going to plant a field, you don't decide a week after you've planted the field to stop watering it because nothing's going to happen. You don't see plants yet, so obviously this field isn't going to bring forth fruit. That's not how it works. There is a 90-day pipeline. So for 90 days, blinders on, head down, You're doing your DMO, you're reminding yourself of your vision and your why, and you're getting it done for 90 days. After 90 days, look up, reevaluate, see what you've got going on around you. If you need to make some adjustments, make some adjustments. But understand that if you put effort in for 1 month and then take the next month off, you're not going to continue to have results. You have to keep stuff flowing into that pipeline or you're going to stall out. It's just the truth of how it works, unfortunately. DMO, Krishinda, is it Krishinda or Kristinda? I'm sorry, I should know that. It stands for Daily Method of Operation. So it's like your marching orders every single day. If you've got a checklist of things that you're going to do every day to touch your business, if your checklist is do the chatbot, whatever that looks like. So that DMO also determines your monthly goals. For me, monthly goals are big, and I'll share them, but I don't want them to be sounding crazy, okay? But my monthly goal is to rebuild 5K every single month. My monthly goal is to enroll 30 people, to hit 30 every single month, every single time. Ideally, I'd like to hit 32 because I want 8 shares of that global bonus pool, baby. That global bonus pool is powerful. It is powerful, and it's not for just people at the top. It's for everyone. Take advantage of that. Use that to build your paycheck. If you can get 1, you can get 10, and if you can get 10, you can get 30. It is just about how many people you're talking to. And that's all it is. This is a numbers game. It's not it's not magical, it's mathematical. That's all. Jared Richards told me that years and years ago. This is not magical, it's mathematical. And he was so right. Talk to people. That's it. Talk to people. That pipeline is 90 days. That's just what it is. So I just would encourage you to set your goal. Yeah, Kelsey, you're right. Our prior company, that global bonus pool started at 50K. I think they moved it eventually to 25, but that's a big thing to strive for. And right now, you can bring somebody into the business today who can get 4 people signed up today and be a part of the global bonus pool. That is amazing to me. It fires me up. It is such a huge thing to be able to offer people, not only because it's financially beneficial, but it helps them be a part of what we're doing. And it helps them feel that connection for themselves. That looked like a punching. That's not what I meant. I was fiercely excited about my hand motions. So your vision determines your goals determine your DMO, and your DMO determines your pipeline. If you want a big pipeline, you got to do big DMO. That doesn't mean a lot of time. You can work very, very, very smart here with the tools that are available. If you start looking at the systems, the Tuesday, Thursday events, Thursday night cutoff, we've got Friday, you can announce for pre-enrollees. There are such social media strategies that you can use here. Mondays, doing the CBD oil giveaway posts, conversations with people, inserting them in all of that. There is so much that you can do to build that pipeline. It doesn't need to take you 5, 6, 8 hours a day. But if you have a goal, if you have a vision for anything significant, you need to be touching that business every single day. Every single day. You will not regret working your business every day, you guys. I can promise you that. At the end of the day, all I can tell you is that having a big vision, having a big why that gets you out of bed, that encourages you to give something a big investment of yourself, a big time investment, a strong, intentional, purposeful building. It is so worth it. It is worth it in every way, not just financially, not just in rank, not just the satisfaction of accomplishing your goals, but who you become in this process, you guys, is everything. It's everything. You need to be pursuing your personal growth. There are lists and lists of incredible books. And I know it probably feels silly to go and read books on leadership and on, becoming an entrepreneur and taking yourself seriously and everything by Brené Brown, but it is not silly. It's so important. This is about who we become on the way to where we're going. And as we grow as people, we get where we want to go faster. I think that it's really important. In order to do any of this, you have to be able to speak about your business with strength. You have to be able to speak about this industry with strength. And we've all seen it done poorly, right? We've all seen MLM done real badly. That doesn't have to be a determining factor on whether or not you boldly and proudly and with huge belief share this business with other people. I can tell you, I have seen lives changed. I can say that with 100% confidence. I've seen lives changed here in a very short amount of time. I've seen lives completely turned upside down in a good way by this industry in multiple companies. This industry is so powerful. And if we carry around a stigma and a shame with us that leads us to not being willing to actually present the business and actually talk to people with the strength of understanding that they can turn your world upside down. You guys, we went from barely being able to pay our bills, barely being able to keep the lights on and keep food on the table, to a six-figure income less than a year later. Less than a year later, we took our family on our very first family vacation and we paid for the whole thing in cash. I was able to put my kids in private school. The things that we have been able to do, I know because I've experienced it personally that this business can change lives. If you don't know stories of network marketers, the good ones, who have done amazing things and have used the privilege and the resource of the income that's possible with this business and have used that to love people and to build. I know one family up in Oregon who built a respite center for missionaries who had been through trauma on the mission field. And they built a retreat home for them to be able to come to free of charge, to be taken care of, to be loved on, to have rest, and to have counseling, and they paid for it out of their private funds. That's huge to me. That's really, really huge. I know of another couple who fund privately actual rescues of children in sex trafficking over in the Middle East and Asia. They privately fund, they've got an arrangement, they can't talk about it very openly, but they privately fund missions to go and rescue these people. You cannot tell me this industry is just full of stigma and that we can't speak about it with strength, because I know better. I know too much now. I know way too much. I can't ever go back. I can't unsee what I've seen. I can't unknow what I know. So one of the things that even with a big vision and even with big goals, if we can't speak about the industry and speak about what we're doing with strength, if you can't call somebody and say, listen, I know where you guys are. I know the position that your life is in, and I believe that I have something that could change it for you. I believe I have something that could turn all of this on its head and change your life. If you don't have that belief yet, that's okay, but it's time to start building that, because that's a message that is so powerful that how can we not share the gift of an opportunity like this? I can't not share it. I can't not tell people that this thing is incredible. And you can get right or you can get left, but I know exactly where I'm going and there's seats on the bus. So come on, get on, because I know what's going to happen for me and I know what I'm going to do with that money. I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. Kind of a tangent, but it's really, really important to be able to speak with strength about this business to people. And if you don't have that big belief yet, go dig, go find stories, go look up some of the big names in the industry. Ask us if you need recommendations. There are a lot of people that we know who've done amazing things. And we know a lot of people whose lives have been changed where it is a dramatic story like that. It isn't some, wild, crazy funding missions to the Middle East, but it is a life change. It's a surgery paid for. It's debt paid off. This industry changes lives. And I'm so excited to get to be a part of that. I encourage encourage you, all of you, just as I wrap it up, to take some time. Don't set your vision and your why in 5 minutes. It's not enough time. Let yourself sit with it. Take a bubble bath. Take a long hot shower. Take a couple days. Dig into what it means for you. Dig into what you really want. What do you really want? Maybe you keep what you really want to yourself. Maybe you write that privately and you keep that over there. You don't tell anybody. That's okay. But take time to acknowledge it. Take time to recognize and to sit with it and to let it get in you. Let it get in you. Let it rise up in you. You won't regret that. Thanks so much for having me, you guys. I will take, Melody, do you want me to do Q&A for a minute or two? Or are we, I know we're at 7:42 and that was a little bit longer than I intended. Sorry.
That was absolutely amazing. As always, you totally fire me up and make me want to cry. And, you know, I kind of fell into this industry, but it makes me want to cry to see the lives that it changes and the possibilities that are there. Yeah. I mean, I had a conversation with one of my closest friends a couple of weeks ago, and she was kind of hating on MLMs. And I was just like, you don't understand. It's like so much bigger than that. Even in the struggles of people trying to learn how to actually build a business, like that is one of the things that lights me up, because they are growing. Like they are getting new skills and we're coming alongside of them, and people are coming alongside of us, and we are growing as people. And I love that part about this industry. So thank you for sharing your heart. Yeah, I think that would be great if we did some Q&A.
Yeah, let's do it. I've got a couple of minutes. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us tonight. I know it was kind of long. So if you have questions, you can pop in.
Yeah, if y'all want to unmute yourself and ask Emily questions, even about her journey, feel free. And thank you, Emily, so much for being open and vulnerable too.
Always.
Hey, Emily, can you tell us in your journey what big milestones have been for you or game changers for you? Yeah,
that's a good question. For me, my first check that was, I made a check. It was probably my 4th month in the business in my prior company. And that check was over $10,000. And I realized all of a sudden that there was debt that we had at the time. There was a list of things that in one moment was paid. It was done. It's completely done. And the freedom that allowed in 1 minute, the freedom and the victory that was, I suddenly realized, oh, I can do this. Oh, this is significant. Oh, this is a big deal. That was a milestone for me. I don't know if that's motivational for a lot of people, but for me, I'd never seen a 5-figure check in my life. Never, not one time. So that was incredible. One of the other big milestones was watching several of the girls that I worked with. I will never forget the first time I watched Kelsey speak. She did not enjoy public speaking at all and was asked to speak, and she was so brave and she jumped in and she did so well, but it was a huge victory for her. And I carried that as a victory that I wanted to hold on to, because I'd seen through the growth that she'd been through, the journey that she'd walked, that I had a privilege to have a front row seat. It wasn't my journey, it was hers, but I got to watch. And that was huge. It was a really huge moment. There were other accomplishments kind of along the way that meant a lot to me, that were goals that I worked really hard for and accomplished, were just huge and just amazing. But pretty much all of them, outside of that first big check that was like, oh, I can do this, what are you talking about? All of the rest of them involved people and seeing girls on my team find financial freedom and able to walk away from abuse and able to walk away from bad situations. And that's so much, that matters to me so much more. I guess that's my answer. I'm not sure if that really answers your question or not.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Katie, that is a great question. Is there a central place to go see ideas for giveaways and recruiting? Yes, you need to be on the Hope Not Dope team page. That is where, or if you're on Melody's team, on her team page, that's fantastic. There's tons and tons of resources on there. So just ask your sponsor who introduced you, and she'll help get you connected with a lot of those different resources. All right, guys. Are there any more questions quickly? Yeah, Gina?
Hi, it's Jenna. But that's
Jenna, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm totally passionate about the product. I'm one of those that have never done MLM. The one time I tried it was jewelry, and that was kind of pointless. And so I find that when I'm trying to talk about the business and not the product, I'm just a fumbling idiot. Mm-hmm. And I have no problem talking to people and suggesting things. And I just don't have a place. Even the money I'm making, I feel like, yes, it's better than I'm not making anything, but it's, I've already been told it doesn't have to be a big number to impress people. But like, I don't even know how you get to that point where you're like, this is a real business. It's not the pyramid. It's not, because I know it isn't, but I don't really know how you get to a point where then you can give that to other people. Because I still feel like a cheese ball when I'm doing it.
I know. I think that there's a certain measure where that cheesy kind of feeling chases you forever.
Oh, okay.
It kind of chases you forever, and it pops its head up every once in a while. Sometimes it's worse than others. Some conversations with specific people, you're like, but I think what I would say to that is it's okay if two things. Number one, your story is going to impact people regardless of whether you think it's big or small. You have a story that is going to impact people, and you need to tell it. We're really quick to judge and discount our own journey and get into comparison and just decide that because it doesn't look like hers, that it isn't valuable or that it isn't going to attract people. And I don't believe that that's ever true, but it's really easy to believe that. So number one, total understanding and compassion for you in that feeling. And then the other thing would be that you're on a team for a reason, and there are stories all around you. If you don't feel like you have a story that you're comfortable with sharing, share someone else's. Say, hey, my friend Lori had this happen for her. I'm brand new. I've never done MLM before, but guess what? I am on a team that is amazing. We've got some of the best leaders above us who are breaking records, hitting these amazing things. They're teaching us how to do exactly that. This person's story, we get to work in team on purpose. And that is really, really powerful. In our old company, we never really trained on that. We never really took advantage of that. Not took advantage, that's the wrong phrase, but we never understood the power of story. And I think when you work with a lot of people, you can share their stories. And the other thing is practice. Just practice. The more conversations that you have with people, the easier those conversations become. Even with all of my experience in MLM, my first couple of weeks, she doesn't have her video on. My first couple of weeks here, I felt like I'd never done this before. I was like sending Kelsey like the paragraph that I wanted to message out to people and asking her to take a look at it and tell me if it was good or if it sounded ridiculous. I was like adrift, completely not knowing what I was doing. And it's something that just with practice, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I feel much more confident now about a lot of it. But just the more that you do it and the more conversations that you have. The other thing is message your upline leader and ask her to help you sort through your story and sort through how to share that and how to present that to people. Sometimes just having somebody else's eyes on it and their feedback to be able to say, hey, yes, this is really good and it's worth sharing can give confidence that could give confidence that you didn't have on your own. You're right. I did. Yeah. I would voice record and I would feel really silly halfway through. And so I would just delete it. And then I would start again. And then I would say something wrong and I would delete it again. I was a mess.
Can I add something to that, Emily? One of the things that I personally have found to be super powerful is before I had a story, we talk about third-party validation. That third-party validation is why you're sending people to Travis and Kristen's events, because they have a story and you don't have to tell your story. They're going to be inspired to hear their story. And until I had a story, I very much believe in doing 3 ways with your upline, either on the phone or like say, oh my word, this industry is exploding. Do you want to be in on that? Do you want more information? Let me put you through with my leader who is making X amount of dollars in X amount of time. You don't have to tell your story, but when you do that and they keep buying the exec pack, you will have a story in no time flat. And that's how it's done. I mean, that is how I was taught, and that is how I have always done it, is you share your upline story and you do 3-way messaging.
Absolutely. Yeah, 3-way Facebook message thread. I think for a lot of us that's more comfortable, and that's totally doable. And I can tell you that all of your uplines are so happy to jump in and help with those conversations. People ask questions, and it's nice to be able to see. It's really nice for me to be able to watch how Kelsey answers questions and listen to how she talks about the director pack. She rarely sells a builder pack ever. She primarily sells director packs or higher, and it's because of how she talks about it. So get in the space with people who are talking about things in a way that's bringing success, and you do what successful people do. It's copy, rinse, and repeat. Personalize it, yes. Make it your own, yes. But rinse and repeat is how you build this business quickly. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. I hope this has been helpful for you. It's been such a privilege and an honor to get to connect with all of you. I see some beautiful familiar faces and some new faces, and it's just such a joy. I am so excited about what we're going to do together. I'm so excited. It's going to be such a good ride.
Thank you again so much, Emily. You are such a joy to listen to. I learn something from you every time. So thank you for taking the time, and thank you guys all for showing up. We are so excited to run with you. And I hope you guys have a great night.
Love you all.
Mwah.